That is my only contribution to being alive in this world, is that I can make some difference through my music, make people feel good about life. The name of the band is Night Flight Band. My mission now is to go to China with this band and create memories for all the audiences for the next 3.5 months. I'm Big Walker. I might be right, I might be wrong. Good Lord, take me when I'm gone. I say, oh Lord. Blues is not a popular music in China. But you know what? I believe it will be. For some reason, the harmonica can draw strong emotions out of people. That is the base of my musicality, is playing the harmonica. Everybody can relate to it. It's everybody's story. I think that music is the connection between all people everywhere. The guys that I'm playing with now, they're all Swedish. But they don't know what they're getting themselves into, because they don't understand that we're not just going to another country in Europe, back to the 30s. The People's Republic of China, they're going to be never the same again. None of us will be. Who will get homesick first? Stevie. Because he's the most traveled, he's not going to expect what he's going to meet in China. He's played blues and rock and roll for very many years, and he's played in my bands for very many years. Harmonica, I started playing when I was 7 years old. My uncle John lived in the house that I lived in, played boogie-woogie piano and the harmonica. And he gave me one of his old broken down harmonicas and would play the boogie-woogie piano and say, blow, man, blow. And the style he taught me, he called it okie dokie. It came from Oklahoma, very country. And I've been teaching that okie dokie style harmonica for 25 years or more. One of my children, who is now 15, when he was a baby, every time I would play a certain way of playing on the harmonica, he would cry. Every time. It is capable of really drawing emotion. Music is the thing that makes us remember. blues for me is more than the feeling. It's more than a 12-bar progression that goes 1, 4, 5. It's the expression of your life at the time. Why China? They asked me. I started training martial arts actually when I was 10, when Bruce Lee showed up on the scene, and then Jackie Chan. And I ended up winning 4th place in an international competition, and it's always been my dream to go to China. But I always thought it was going to be through the martial arts. It turned out to be through music. I'm not going to miss the weather in Sweden or something, you know. It's like, it's my wife, it's the kids. They're used to my cooking. I'm used to seeing them every day and seeing how their progress is. And that's the thing about being a musician, that I have to go away and play. And it's been this way their whole life, so they know I will come back.
I am a good woman and a fine life. I've been all alone.
I started playing the saxophone when I was 16, and I had a sax player named Noel Jukes. He was really cool. His attitude was, there are no rules. There's no music law. You should be able to be free to play however you want, however you are, and be accepted for that, as long as you do the work. So the first exercise he had for me was, play one note for an hour, and then move on to the next note. Okay, we know that there's 12 notes in the in the chromatic scale. So if you played all 12 for an hour, well, and he wanted me to do that like every day until the next lesson. That was the beginning of our lesson, because the object was tone is the most important thing. Not that you could play a lot of notes and play jazz and play fancy, but that you had your unique tone. And that was the signature of who you are. Being able to play a tone that could be recognized anywhere.
Actually been chased by bears up in the north of Norway, and women through the woods at like 5 in the morning. Those kind of things happen when you go on the road with Walker. You know, he tricks you to go out walking. They don't call him Walker for nothing, I tell you. You know, he tricked me to go out walking in these mountains up in the north of Norway early in the morning. And who's out early in the morning? All the big hungry animals are out looking for food. And so him and me, they go, they're black and white. Here I come. Damn, we was wrong. But we live to tell the tale, and you know, that's why we're still here.
Got my mojo working, but it ain't gonna work on you. Got my mojo working, this won't work on you. I wanna love her so bad, I don't know what to do. I'm going down Louisiana, gonna get me a mojo hand. I go down, Lucy Girl. Give me a mojo hand. I'm gonna have other women.
I've been able to travel through, well, most of the world and been able to find people that I could relate to. And they look at me as a musician that knows about Afro-American music. And that connects me to Brazilian music or Tahitian music or Cuban music. And why can I play all these different music styles? Because they have the same root, which is Africa. And because I have that root, I can go everywhere in the world, play this music, be appreciated, make money, and find people of a like mind. These guys care so much about the music. They don't have the root of the American slavery, and they're willing to try to understand that. And for that, I'm very grateful.
Derek! What was the name of the guy who sang with a little help from a friend who's got this sort of like he looks like a speed freak?
You mean Joe Cocker?
Joe Cocker, yeah. Big white grand piano like this, you know, dressed in a white tuxedo, long white hair, his white beard, you know, walking on stage, you know, and he's nervous, and he takes a swig of a bottle of cognac, you know, like this, and as he swallows it, he goes right into the white grand piano like this, and then he goes on stage and does the first song, and you can see Leon Russell's face like going, Joe Cocker puking.
And that was his comeback.
That was his comeback, yeah.
Kommer vi få se en classic puke av Stevie Claesson då?
Nej, det blir ingen puke.
Det blir ingen classic puke, ordinary puke.
Hostningar kan du få. Så
Ja.
Han fick en klassiker,
jag fick en ingefära och laga på. Starkt den.
Nästan varje dag när jag går hemifrån så brukar jag skära loss en ingefärbit och ha under läppen.
Ja, äter du upp den sen?
Den smälter ju liksom.
Brukar du vara förkyld?
Nej,
Nej, du ser.
inte sen jag började med den där.
Ginger.
The synthesizer that changed music history was always based on the piano and the keyboard. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. The amount of technical ability that you can express on one of these instruments is unlimited. How many hours a day do you have? About 8 months ago. I spent every extra hour of the day learning to play the electronic wind instrument. Basically a synthesizer that's made for wind players. A trumpet player or a saxophone player can have the same access of thousands of sounds to be accessed through an electronic wind instrument. On that instrument, I can make all kinds of sounds, the trumpet or the flugelhorn or the English horn or the violin. My aunt, Evelyn Wooden, was an opera singer, and she would sing to me all the time, so I always believed that I could do that. I got to hear a lot of great blues singers, and I always felt intimidated by the fact that I didn't grow up in the Baptist church, because all the great singers in the disco era and in blues music grew up with the Black Baptist church. I grew up as a Catholic, and the music was very boring. I had to come into the blues world from another angle. Blues is the kind of music that if you write a song that is true to you, it relates to everyone. Then I realized you don't have to be a great singer, because Jimi Hendrix and Bob Dylan were not great singers, but they were great innovators. I wrote a lot of songs. I do the best I can, and I love singing. I hope that I can bring peace and joy in my way to change the world in a positive way through my songwriting, through my music.
Thank you, folks, and good night. Thank you.